Vietnam is committed to the rights of lifelong learning for everyone. Lifelong learning in Vietnam has a relatively long history, with a high priority given during the last 60 years. The ideology of lifelong learning has been promoted by President Ho Chi Minh since the country's independence in 1945. The Constitution of Vietnam in 1992 has affirmed that learning is a right and duty of every citizen. Every citizen, regardless of ethnic origin, religious beliefs, gender, family background, and social status, has an equal right of access to learning opportunities. Article 44 of the Education Law in 2005 has affirmed that the government will make a policy on development of non-formal education to provide education for all and to build a learning society. Strategies of building a learning society in Vietnam has two significant policy documents. One, building a learning society for 2005 to 2010, and building a learning society for 2011 to 2022. Building a Learning Society for 2005 to 2010 has a goal of creating opportunities and favorable conditions for everyone of all ages at all educational levels to learn continuously throughout their life in any place, anytime, and any learning level. While building a learning society for 2011 to 2022 has a goal of ensuring necessary conditions aiming at creating a favorable conditions for all people of all ages and educational levels to learn continuously throughout life, contributing to increasing intelligence and capacity of citizens, increasing quality of human resources of living standards in the learning society.
Many developed countries are promoting lifelong learning for maintaining and increasing the regional and global competitive advantage, including the member states of ASEAN.
Lifelong learning is an increasing trend also in Asia. Many countries, particularly in the ASEAN region, have made efforts to develop their lifelong learning policies. In Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, lifelong learning has been promoted through legislation or through government policies that have implied major changes to the education systems. The Asia-Europe Meeting Lifelong Learning Conference held in Vietnam in October 2009 proposed ASEAN education ministers to include lifelong learning as an item on the agenda at ASEAN summits and to raise common concerns and voiced at regional level. The conference recommended that Vietnam set up a lifelong learning center for the region that would serve as a bridge to the European community. The conference identified obvious benefits to establish a lifelong learning research center in the ASEAN region, to create a network of research institutes and experts that will contribute to the improvement of knowledge production, statistics collection, and data analysis for research-based policy making and research-informed practices.
A Center for Lifelong Learning is an area of expertise of Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization.
The government of Vietnam has shown strong commitment and expressed its support to the establishment of a SEAMEO Regional Center on Lifelong Learning in Vietnam for the promotion of lifelong learning in Southeast Asia and beyond. At the 45th SEAMEO Council Conference held in January 2010 in the Philippines, the future expansion of SEAMEO centers and areas of study were raised, and Vietnam highlighted the need for establishing a SEAMEO Regional Center specialized in lifelong learning. The Ministry of Education and Training of Vietnam presented a concept paper on establishing the SEAMEO Regional Center for Lifelong Learning and expressed its willingness to take the initiative to establish and host the proposed center. The 46th SEAMEO Council Conference approved the proposal on the establishment of the SEAMEO cell in Vietnam. In 2013, the second SEAMEO Regional Center for Lifelong Learning located in Hanoi, Vietnam, was established.
The aims of the proposed center is to cater for the regional needs in promoting lifelong learning, provide opportunities for cooperation in the field of lifelong learning among Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization member and associate member countries, and strengthen the relationship and increase mutual understanding between educational researchers, practitioners, and policymakers of the region.
The proposed center is expected to 1. Become a center of excellence for research, training, and information of lifelong learning. 2. Explore definitions, concepts, and practices of lifelong learning from Asian perspectives. 3. Conduct training courses for educational personnel, trainers for teachers, and educational managers. 4th, act as an information center and think tank for governments of the member countries on research-based educational reforms. 5th, become a focal point for strengthening linkages between Southeast Asia, Asia, and Europe in promoting lifelong learning. SEAMEO Regional Center for Lifelong Learning has sets of specific activities on establishing dialogues with ministries or departments in charge of lifelong learning policies. Introduce, publicize, and promote good practices of lifelong learning in member countries in order to widen participation in education and training and employment in civic life, and to combat exclusion and further equal opportunities. Conduct joint research and comparative studies on lifelong learning at national and regional level. Disseminate knowledge by publishing books, international academic journals, and operating a website in English. Organize appropriate events serving the purpose of the center, including high-profile conferences, seminars, and workshops, and tailor-made training courses. Supply expert consultancy, advice and support services on request. Maintain close cooperation with relevant regional and international organizations.
The establishment of the proposed center reflects Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization's commitment and initiatives to facilitate the education provision and the development of research-based knowledge in the field of lifelong learning in the region. It contributes to an increased number of education personnel and trained support personnel in the field of lifelong learning in the region. It provides a platform for Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization to strengthen its network internationally in the field of lifelong learning.
The strengthening of the educational systems in every country is anchored on the Sustainable Development Goals number 4. The focus of SDG 4 is quality education for all school levels, from primary to tertiary education, and for all age groups, irrespective of their ethnic backgrounds.
Quality education is recognized by 4 main features, namely the availability of educational infrastructure, accessibility by all with no discrimination, acceptability of methods, and adaptability to learners and the society.
Vietnam has achieved SDG 4, or providing quality education, with all of its indicators being on track or maintaining SDG achievement. Through the establishment and major development of the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization Regional Center for Lifelong Learning, Vietnam's educational system has reached the global standards. Vietnam has achieved 98.65% net primary enrollment rate, 97.66% higher secondary completion rate, and 98.41% literacy rate.
Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization Regional Center for Lifelong Learning supports the Sustainable Development Goals number 4 in promoting quality and inclusive education for all and building a learning society that prioritizes lifelong learning opportunities. Because as what President Ho Chi Minh once said, learning should be a lifelong mission.